think that it's important that we take a stand. I mean, we all have something to lose, but then there's so much more to gain.
That said that no matter what color you are, there's only two classes. And that said there's a class over here and there's a class over there. And the reason that this class over here has never did anything to get this class off its back because this is lower, this is upper. This is the oppressed, this is the oppressor. This is the exploited, this is the exploiter. And these people, this class have decided to say, I'm black and I hate white people. I'm white and I hate black people. I'm Latin American and I hate hillbillies. I'm hillbilly and I hate hillbillies. So we fight amongst each other.
When it makes no sense, we got no government here. Why the good people get sick and then they disappear? Mind control causes aspects of physical fear. When the tears of God rotating in subconscious fear. Corruption causes oppression for this mental war. Carry my hammer like Thor. The power from the mind cracks the floor. It's evident that even our currency circulation.
Fatherhood. Before we get to him, let's talk about manhood.
Okay.
And what you think manhood represents.
Manhood to me is really leading by example. You know, for me, it's, you know, you have to show that you are very responsible, you know, man, you know, managing the family. For me, it was all about family and my children. Once I had my children, it was all about growing up and understanding that it's not about you anymore. It's about the babies.
So you don't think you were a man before you had the children?
I think I was a man, but I was a little immature. I was selfish. You know, I had my selfish ways. I didn't have any responsibilities but myself. I did extremely well for myself, but, you know, once my children came into my life, it wasn't even about me anymore. It was really about my kids. It was about, you know, my little girl, my little daughter was like, that was a wake-up call for me because, you know.
She's old.
She's 24 years old. 24 years old. So for me, when I had a little girl, it was all about, you know, now I got to do it right.
Yeah.
I have to show my daughter that, you know, this is how a man's supposed to treat you, you know, talk to you and things like that, you know. So for me, it was a wake-up call.
Yeah, I mean, I think I struggled with it initially.
Really?
Yeah, I think I struggled with, I kept getting the lines crossed between being a man and being mature.
Right.
I think I didn't realize that they are two different things.
It is.
And in order for me to accomplish either of them, I got to learn what they both are.
Right.
I think, like you know, when I got out of school, you know, I'm rolling and working and, you know, partying and hanging out and no responsibilities.
No.
And, you know, so it didn't matter whether I had money or didn't have money. I didn't care. All I had to do was worry about me.
That's it.
And then, you know, fast forward to everything, you know, here come the children. And learning how you now have these new little people that need you and depend on you. Totally. So I think the first thing I did was get mature. My wife at the time, when I found out she was pregnant, that was the first thing that hit me, was maturity. It wasn't about, I didn't even think about manhood. I thought about maturity. I got to grow up, man, fast. And that was, I think that was probably the hardest part. And the first thing I wanted to do was buy stuff.
Exactly.
That's the first thing I wanted to do. I just wanted to buy stuff. I wanted to buy some of everything.
Right.
My first daughter, well, I think this is important. So when I met her, she had a son, Jonathan. You met Jonathan.
Yes, I did.
That's my man. And I'm going to get back to that she had a son business. But that's my dude. I don't think Jonathan was but a year old when I met her.
Wow.
I think and I could be off a couple of months. But I remember the first time we went out on a date. And, well, it wasn't the first date, but the first time we went out on a date and I came back home. She's from Brooklyn. I came back home with her because it was late. And we were at, I don't know if you remember the spot in the village called Caliente Taxi.
Absolutely.
Right. We were there.
Absolutely.
We were there drinking. Now, I had a job. After taxes, this job, I brought home $145 a week after taxes.
Wow.
My first job out of post. I used to give my grandmother $50
Can't
towards the
tell you
house.
nothing.
I used to buy I think it was $20 worth of tokens for
Right.
the week. I put away $10 for just in case. And that Friday when I got paid, I spent the rest of that money on
Live in love. That's how it works.
And I remember we were sitting there.
That's awesome.
We got twisted. And I went back with her back to Brooklyn. And I hung out, and I had such a good time that I said, and I had never been to Brooklyn. That was on the train at least.
Right.
And I ended up going home about 4 o'clock in the morning.
On the train.
On the train, it was crazy. And I had to go to work by 8 o'clock.
That's love.
So I did all of that. So
that's love.
Now, and she told me about her son. And I just had this thing. I wanted to meet him.
Right.
So I said, I'm coming back tomorrow. I didn't make it back tomorrow. I don't know what happened. But fast forward to the next weekend, we went out again, and now we get there. But we got back earlier, and here's this little dude, the pamper, running around.
Nice.
He's running around, and we're sitting on the couch trying to converse, and he gets in between us, and we talk about it to today. He grabs both of our heads, and he's going kiss, kiss, kiss.
Oh wow.
Kiss, kiss. And I said to myself right there, I said, you know what, this dude belongs to me.
Yeah.
This is my
innocence,
dude, right?
and that's what it is.
So, of course, we kissed. He did it like 10, 20 times. And she kept saying, Jonathan, go in there with Grandpa. Go. And every time, kiss, 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 kiss.
Nice.
That's the only word he knew is like. So now, that was kind of confirmation for me that this is supposed to be the mother of my children.
Right.
And, fast forward again, we ended up having a child together, my oldest daughter, Kai. And I can't even tell you how excited I was about that. That was like the best thing in the world. And, I so enjoyed fatherhood from the very beginning.
Absolutely.
I always wanted to just take all the things that my dad and the men in my life gave me and give them back to someone else. And then, of course, I got educated, not just school-wise, but worldly educated.
Absolutely.
And so all the things I was learning, I wanted to be able to give back to some little person. And Jonathan was my I don't want to say test dummy because he's not a dummy, but he was, and I don't want to say guinea pig, it's not animal like that, but he was the one I had to try with. So it was exciting for me to, if I go get a pair of sneakers, I get him a pair of sneakers. If I go to the barbershop, he's with me at the barbershop.
Nice. He knows.
Those kind of things. If I'm at the time he didn't have to worry about car seats, he's in the front seat with
exactly.
me. Seatbelt on. His thing was, and he's gonna laugh when he sees this. But his thing used to be, Daddy, bump the car. Because the music be playing, and I'm hitting the brakes, and we bounce.
So he's doing it?
And when Daddy, bump the car. And I bump the car. And
right.
Some good times like that.
Those
are those fatherly things that I adore, and I can't say I miss them because now I got some grandkids coming along.
Exactly.
So I'll be able to. That's a good look. Having a young man as my oldest, and then my 4 young ladies, it took me to another place.
Yeah, absolutely. It took me to a whole new place.
Those chances that I was willing to take before, I had to redefine. There got people who matter and are truly reliant on me.
That's right.
So I learned to kind of reinvent myself. I reinvented myself, and responsibility became a big thing to me. And,
priority.
I will say, because I know there are people that know me that this is going to go out. They're going to see this rather. Was I always responsible? No. Did I even care? There were times I didn't.
Right.
But I think
my dad was never involved in my life. I learned the hard way. I had father figures in my life. I had the Boatwrights of the world that was in my life. I had the Aaron Woodwards, who Count Basie's son, you know him, right? I had nothing but powerful men in my life.
But your pops wasn't there.
But my pops was not there. My pops ever. And do you know to this day, I visit my father on 4th of July at the Veterans Hospital in Raleigh, North Carolina. He sees the love that I have for him. He might not have been there for me, but he's my father. And he's given me birth. And I make sure that my son understands his father. He understands his father. He understands his grandfather. And I let my son know, I will never be a father that didn't take care of you. Or my son's life, he will say, my dad was there for me, 100%, right? But let's talk about something that's real.
Talk about it.
We got baby mothers. I know I do. I know about you. I got a baby mama that can't stand me so much.
You should know me by now. I know I don't like the term baby mother.
Okay.
We have mothers of our children.
Okay. That. All I'm saying is...
You're not going to get me to go backwards. I'm telling you. You're not going to get me to go backwards.
I'm not going backwards. I'm just telling you she's my baby mom.
Okay. Okay.
She's the mother of my children.
Okay.
Right? Let's talk about that because we got some issues about having this hatred for one another, right? Mm-hmm. We got kids, we lay down with the women, right? Mm-hmm. We got love for them, but we just fought. And I think, don't you think if we would have just come together sooner than later, I think that kid's gonna be better off. I mean, don't you think?
Absolutely.
If I would have known now,
then,
what I know now, I think it's paramount that if we bridge this gap with our mother's, our children's mom, and have a much better relationship, our children will be far more advanced, right?
Right.
We don't have to worry about all this fighting and bickering, because sometimes we know we have to mature.
I realized I was reflecting on myself and saying that with both of them, you said ego. First thing I got in my way. I'm good looking. I'm working hard.
Right.
I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Forget her. And then you realize maybe you should have sat yourself down, looked in the mirror, and called on your faults. Fix all of those things. And maybe things would have been different.
It would have been different. Right? If I can learn anything about my two divorces, is that I was such an idiot. I was a total idiot. It was all about me. I wasn't all an idiot, but a lot of it was my fault because at my ego, I couldn't get out of my own way. Right? And I have beautiful wives. They wasn't bad women at all. I was just an idiot that, I didn't see the true value in my wife. Right? And that's real.
I get it.
And that's real. So for me, I got love for my daddy's mom. I got love for my son's mom. Right? Now that I'm older, I'm 53 years old. If I can take back everything, I wish I would have said, I love you more. I wish I would have said, you know what, I appreciate you more. These are things that we forget what got us there, right? Sometimes we get to a point in life, we forget what got us there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just the black male, it was the black woman that got us there.
Right.
And we realize, that brothers got to understand it's not about us anymore when we have wives. And I wish I would have learned this earlier in life.
Teamwork.
It's teamwork.
Yeah.
If we can have teamwork and all that stuff. But you know what? Full circle. That's why you and I can have a conversation like this and discuss these real issues that these brothers are going through. If we can touch just one person that's going through a divorce right now because of their bad egos. Right? Disrespect of just family.
Right.
If they can understand, we got brothers. We were just in the same spot where that brother is at. Yeah. And we just trying to give him a focal point, a bridge to say, hey, I don't want to lose my wife. I don't want to lose my children. If I can take this all over again, I wish I was still married. Honestly. But at the end of the day, that's life.
Right. You take the good back.
Take the good back.
One of the things I want brothers to recognize when they let their ego and their personalities get in the way, and I struggle with this, and you're one of maybe 2 or 3 people that I've ever said this to. I struggle with when I have my daughters every other weekend. I'm talking about my younger daughters right now. This is the most recent situation. It's hard for me, whether people recognize it or not, when I have to drop them back off at home. Because what happens is I start to reminisce about the things that work.
Right.
I didn't have to drop them off. I'm going to the house with them because we just came from somewhere. And you have that family. And I miss the, mornings where they're getting up and running around.
Exactly.
And, all those kind of things that we take for granted. I did. I thought that, you know, it was what it was, but now that I don't have it, it's tough. And so that I have them with me and I pick them up. We come home, you know, it's showers, it's food, it's, you know, hug up on daddy, hug up on them, watch a little TV. Then, of course, they break to their cell phones and I'm sitting there, but they're just there. I'm good. Within an hour after being there, I'm unconscious. I'm asleep. I'm rested. I'm good. When I drop them off on Sunday, it could be 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I can't go to sleep.
Right.
My mind is racing because I'm thinking, dang, I just had my little partner here.
Right.
With my older children, it was slightly different. My son, always a good dude. Always a good dude. Always. I have nothing bad to say about him.
Right.
But there was a time period, maybe about 3 years, where I went past blame because I know I had something to do with it, but I will say his mother had a lot to do with it too. She didn't encourage him to have a relationship with me. She kind of discouraged it. And what I mean by that, she may feel a way about it, and we can discuss it.
Right.
But where I'm at is, I would always talk to him and say, respect your mother, and I'm not going to go against what she says, and we need to talk about to your mother about this, that, whatever it was. He'd be pissed at me, but that's how I thought it should be. We need to be a team. Whereas her, it was like,
I've learned that I can't take that. I can't take that back.
I struggled with that.
Right. I can't take it
I think I still do at times now.
You know, I always talk about living in the now, man.
Right.
I've always said that. Sometimes we have to live in the now, and let's not concentrate what happened in the past.
Mm-hmm.
We can only take care of what's happening to us right now. And if it means me bringing that bond together with my baby girl, then you know what? I have to do that. I can't concentrate in the past.
Right.
And I've learned through maturity, because I couldn't say this when I was in my 30s.
Right. I couldn't even talk about it.
I couldn't talk about it in my 30s, but I think at my age now, my daughter is a grown-ass woman, and she needs to see a grown-ass man. Treat her as such.
Yeah.
And that's all about, and I get it. I understand what you were saying. For me, I lost that disconnect from my baby.
Right.
Thank God that my baby, my little girl, she's little, she might be my little girl, she's 24, but she's still my baby.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to talk to her and let her know, listen, I'm sorry, because I'm not going to blame the mother.
That's being a man.
I'm not going to blame the mother. I'm going to blame myself. Shame on me not stepping up and pushing hard and getting to my baby and talking to her about it when she was 12 and 13 years old. I can't blame that mother on that. She was just being a mom. I think at the end of the day, we as men got to own that.
And I truly believe it. I respect it. And so you were able to live in it now.
I was living in the now.
I struggled getting to that.
Right.
And I lived in the past. I was always trying to make up for it.
Exactly.
And this is more with my older children.
Right.
I was always trying to make up for it and trying to put myself in a position where, you know, hey, look at daddy. Hey, look at daddy. You know, daddy's trying, even though I was struggling a lot of times. Daddy's trying. And I think the more I did that, the deeper I fell into a sort of depression. You know what I mean? But what I ended up doing is I talked to a brother. One of the big deals about men that we don't really touch on is depression, especially in the so-called minority communities. Men are called crazy or lost or he's just being a fool. But men really are depressed with the weight of things that are on our shoulders, from taking care of families, holding down jobs, just trying to make it day to day. I don't think people are understanding of the fact that we can break down. We need help. We need encouragement. And then we don't know how to go get it, or because of the stigma that's attached to depression, we figure, you know, we'll just hold it. We'll just keep it inside. I've learned over the years that men are often depressed. I realized a while back, I got into a situation right around 9/11 where I lost a job, I had a new baby, I'm living out of state, you know, all kinds of things were going on. And I had to try to figure it out, and I really felt alone. You know, I do have family that cares about me, but I can't put all my burdens at their doorstep, and this weighed on me, heavy, because you have expectations. They have expectations of me being great, and I was failing at that. Um, I had older children that were looking for daddy to do what daddies are supposed to do, and I wasn't able to. And I fell into this real deep place and sad place, and things like suicide and the what if I wasn't here, they come to mind. Fortunately, I come from a family with a strong background who gave that to me, and I never took steps in that direction. But the point is, there are men who step into that arena or think hard about it, and it's not fair. It's not fair to them that they don't have someone to just say, hey, let's talk about it. Let's see what direction we can take this thing in to help you get around it. So Starke Naked Truth is going to do just that. We're not clinical. None of us are clinical. None of us are professionally trained in this. But it's men that have gone through it. In my best guess estimation, if you take 100 men who go through the same topics therapists are trying to talk to you about, who've gone to school for it, then I can guarantee you those men that have experienced it are going to have more to give back to the individual that's dealing with that particular situation than those that have read the textbook. I'm not knocking them. I'm not saying they're not a great help, a great resource, because quite frankly, I'm going to look for some of those professionals to come and talk to me and talk with us and get these brothers that need them into their programs. But I do know it has to start with the layman. It has to start with the everyday dude. I'm not everyday dude. I live these things all the time. I talk to brothers that go through this all the time. And for me to not present myself as an outlet to them, I don't see that as an option anymore. For me not to present myself to them as an outlet would be ridiculous. It would be selfish, quite frankly. I'm here to serve. That's my job. We all go and we look and we say, what is our purpose? What is our purpose in life? Why did God, whoever your God is, and however you worship to Him, it's not my business. But why did that higher power put me here? What is my purpose? I think I found mine. Mine is to be able to have a good listening ear and a faithful breast. And sometimes I'll have a silent tongue, but there are times that I need to use it, and this is just that time. I'm a straight to the point person. I don't beat around the bush. My intentions are never, ever to hurt feelings, things like that, but I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And that's all you're going to get from the Starke Naked Truth, which is why I named it that. There's a little story behind that, the Starke Naked part of it. In junior high school 123 in the Bronx, I had a professor. No, I'm sorry, not a professor. English teacher, and it was the 8th grade, I believe. And his name was Mr. It's going to sound cliche-ish. He was an Irish dude. It was Mr. O'Reilly. And Mr. O'Reilly was a big guy. I remember he was this big Irish dude in a school full of black and Latinos, Latinas. And he just stuck out like a sore thumb. And this dude, every time he saw me, because I was a very quiet kid, I know that's hard to believe, every time he saw me, he would say, "Starke Naked. What's up, Starke Naked?" And honestly, in the 8th grade, I didn't know what Starke Naked meant. I thought it was just my last name and the word naked, and I knew naked. We shouldn't be saying that. And what he told me one day, I asked him, I said, "Why do you call me that all the time?" And he said, "Because I looked at some of the things you write, and when I look at those things, I see you're pretty open about what you write. You don't really hold back, or at least you don't know how to." And I didn't quite understand it then, but it was years later, as I got to college, I realized that when I write, and even when I speak, but more so when I write, I'm so wide open, I'm so transparent, I don't hold anything back. And it's funny because when I read it, I kind of feel crazy because I can't believe the words are mine. But I think those are the things that have attracted other people to me to say, hey, I want you to listen to this story. I want you to listen to this situation. And it's not always tell me what you think, but it's just they want me to listen. And I do. I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate. I end up having opinions too. And I will share those opinions in a heartbeat. I want the Starke Naked Truth to be a growing entity. I don't want it to be something that just ends up, for my friends to watch because they appreciate me, or my family, they appreciate me and what I'm trying to do. I want people to pass it on to others. I want to be able to set up these conversations where the people that are part of them can look back and say, you know what, I need to share this with somebody because I know somebody who's dealing with what we talked about. I want to be able to be a jack of all trades, but only in the sense that I get enough, I have enough insight on things that people are concerned with that I'm able to share a story.
I'm black and I hate white people. I'm white and I hate black people. I'm Latin American and I hate hillbillies. I'm hillbilly and I hate hillbillies. So we fight amongst each other.
When it makes no sense, we got no government here.
I figure if I can talk to some of these men who are still suppressing some of the things that bother them, maybe then they'll take it back home and they'll give it to those young men who will then be the men that are courting our daughters, our nieces. So that's why I do it. I want to see